Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. This is a really important week this week, and I've got a lot of important things that I want to share with you. The thing that's so vital about this week is we've got some big shifts in the outer planets this week, and these are shifts that are actually going to hold true for a big chunk of the year this year. So the shifts and changes celestial that we see this week are actually energies that are going to be playing with us and supporting us over the course of the year, and they're going to be maintaining for us and enhancing for us certain key themes that are important when we talk about this year being a foundational year for the next 10 years. Everything we do this year is about mindset, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again. If you were on my 2016 preview teleclass call last night, you know that the big theme for the year every single freaking month in every single planet is mindset. The mindset energy is about really giving yourself permission this year to step into a vision, and not just a vision, but ultimately action that is aligned with the truth of who you are. This is the year where you are not going to hold yourself back with your visions or your perspectives or your sense of who you really are. This is not a year where you're going to be tentative with your dreams. This is not a year where you're going to lock yourself into what you logically think is possible, but literally step into that mindset where you are dreaming the seemingly impossible dream, because there is nothing that's impossible. And what we are going to discover over the next 10 years is that, in fact, it is the impossible dream being made manifest that's going to change the world and make it a greater place. Think about this for a minute. You know, when we first decided we were going to fly to the moon, there were a lot of people who thought that was impossible, right? We are really in that same place developmentally and from an evolutionary perspective right now. We've got some interesting planetary challenges ahead of us. We've got some shifts and changes in our physical environment, in our sense of our abundance, in our, in the challenges that we are facing with sustainability and resources and peace. There's some things happening that many people might tell you are impossible. People might believe it's not possible for us to feed everybody on the planet. It's not possible for us to heal our environment. It's not possible for us, perhaps, to create a world where there are sustainable resources and sustainable peace. Don't listen to anybody else if they tell you your dreams, whatever those dreams may be, are not possible. Everything is possible, but nothing will be possible first if we don't believe that it's possible. You have to have the mindset of possibility when facing the seemingly impossible dream. So this year, we are being invited by the planets to step into a true vision, holding a space for creating in consciousness the impossible dream that we want to create in our own lives. And this is true for us in our personal realities. This is the year where you've got to, with your consciousness and your dreaming, step off the flippin' diving board and dive into the deep end. And also for the global perspective that we collectively have to come together and collectively begin to dream what it is that we are bringing forth into form. What kind of a world do you want to live in? What kind of reality do you want to see? What do you want to see when you open up your CNN news page every day? What kinds of news do you want? What kinds of experiences do you want to know are happening in a joyful and beautiful, abundant way on this planet? This is the year to start really anchoring those visions into form. We've got 10 years to build this. That's not meant as pressure. That means you need to understand, we all need to understand, this is the year to lay the template with our consciousness. And so the planets this year are dancing with us very highly. And we start this week, the first real official week of the year, right, with the gate 54, ambition in the sun, 53, the gate or the energy of starting things in the earth. We have huge shift in Pluto, which has been which has shifted as of the 3rd of January into also the Gate 54 ambition. Pluto is a planet of expansion. Ambition is an energy of dreaming big. It's the pulse, the spark, the drive to bring something new into form. And most particularly, it's a drive or a spark that's about creating something that's going to ultimately not benefit only yourself personally, but also benefit the greater good of the whole. It's a drive that ultimately pushes things forth into manifested or material form. So it's that energy of dreaming and dreaming big. It's also the energy of enlightenment and letting go and trusting in right timing and knowing that as long as the dream and the vision is upheld and nurtured and taken care of, that all the parameters necessary to make the dream fulfilled will show up. You don't have to do anything right now except dream, and to dream and dream big. And certainly the energy this week creates a huge impulse, a good starting point for us to really step into a dream world this year in our minds and with our consciousness. Now, that being said, we've got also some tension and some struggle this week. The struggle or the tension is all about the emergence of something new. We are looking at patterns, we are looking at our habits, we're looking at our daily routines, and we're also kind of simultaneously retrospecting what's worked before, what hasn't worked. We've got Mercury in retrograde from January 5th until January 25th. The Human Design New Year actually starts this year on January 23. So it's going to feel like, even though you have these ideas about how you want to do things differently, that you might be a little gummed up in the molasses, or you're not quite getting the start of the mojo that you usually have, or the momentum that you'd like to have. It's not personal. This is not a huge time for momentum. This is actually a time for retrospection, introspection. So don't push yourself too hard. Give yourself permission to go deep into that dreaming place and to really look at what's working, what needs to shift, what needs to change. Most importantly, the purpose of the mind is to stimulate the emotions so that you can be in the right emotional vibration for creation. Think about, how do you want to feel? How do you want your life to feel? How do you want your business to feel? How do you want your relationships to feel? These are the queries and the questions of this year. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about making it happen. Give yourself permission to just slip into the dream world, particularly this week. Take care of your consciousness. Meditate. Get out your journal. Get out sparkly markers or your things maybe you want to cut out for your vision board, not necessarily for the sake of trying to force something into form, but because you want to stimulate the emotional energy that's going to keep the flow of your dreaming expansive, open, and profoundly beautiful. This is the year where it's almost like you are a big, beautiful flower and you are unfolding those petals. You can't force the petals to unfold. They unfold naturally. And it's the state of your consciousness, the alignment of you with your beauty, the willingness that you have to dream big, the courage that you have to let go of any previous limitations that maybe have kept you from stepping into the bigness of who you are, and the willingness to take acts of faith without wobbling. That's what's up for this year. And this week, start it off by getting into that whole dream piece. This is a week I want you to practice dreaming. Get your training wheels on your dreaming bike and, start pedaling. Eventually this dreaming piece is going to become such a natural part of your creative process. You won't wrestle with it anymore. But this is the week where we start it off. This is the initiating cycle in the dream world. So get going. Get your journal out. Get your vision board. Flip through magazines. If you are having trouble imagining it, go to the bookstore and pull magazines down off the shelf and just flip through visual images, or go to the internet. You could do that too if you need to. Start finding the things that trigger excitement in you, that trigger the juice, and pay attention to what's popping up in your awareness and your consciousness. That's all I want you to do this week. No big resolutions, nothing else. Just dream. Dream like crazy. And have a really, really awesome week.